This photo was taken in 1963. Suzy Parker, 28 years old, walking away from it all. Now look at this one. She's 24, at the very height of her fame, the most sought-after model in the world, earning a staggering $100,000 a year. Hollywood is chasing her. She has everything: success, beauty, power. So what made her disappear? The answer lies in a man who demanded she choose between love and everything else she'd built. Suzy Parker was born in Texas in 1932, one of 10 children, raised in poverty. But by the time she turned 15, she was already modeling. By 20, her face was on every major magazine cover in America: Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Life. She wasn't just another model. She was tall, 6 feet, with flaming red hair and freckles that broke every beauty rule of her era. She was different, bold, unforgettable. Photographer Richard Avedon called her his muse, and soon Suzy Parker became the highest-paid model in history. Then came 1957, and Hollywood came knocking. Her film debut was Funny Face, alongside Audrey Hepburn. Fittingly, she played a model. It was a natural transition. That same year, she starred opposite Cary Grant in Kiss Them for Me. Then came 10 North Frederick and The Best of Everything. 4 major films in just 2 years. Suzy was proving that a model could be more than a pretty face. She could act, she could command the screen. The future was wide open. Studios wanted her under contract. Fame, fortune, longevity, all within reach. Then she met Bradford Dillman. Take a look at this photo from 1960. Bradford stands next to her, an actor, good-looking, serious, ambitious. They married that same year. She was 28. He was 30. But from the start, cracks began to show. Bradford resented her fame. He couldn't stand the spotlight on her. He wanted a quiet wife, a home, children, a woman who would give up the world for him. Suzy tried to keep both, her career and her marriage, but it was like living 2 lives at war with each other. The tension built until something had to break. Here's what most people never heard. In 1963, Bradford confronted her with an ultimatum: him or her career. She couldn't have both. Suzy was at her absolute peak, earning more than he ever had, more famous than he could ever be. And that was the problem. His pride couldn't survive being Mr. Suzy Parker, so he forced her to choose, the husband or the empire. She chose him. She walked away from the world she had conquered, the million-dollar contracts, the movie offers, the fame, gone overnight. At 28 in her prime, Suzy Parker disappeared. She became a housewife, raised 4 children, and slipped quietly out of public memory. The woman who once redefined beauty was suddenly invisible. But here's the cruel twist. The marriage didn't even survive. They divorced in 1974, 11 years later. 11 years of sacrifice for a man who couldn't bear her success. By then, Suzy was 42. The modeling world had moved on. The film industry had forgotten her name. New faces like Twiggy ruled the scene. Suzy Parker, once the world's most famous model, was now a ghost from another era. Look at this photo from 1975, just a year after the divorce. She's trying to stage a comeback. A few small modeling gigs, a handful of forgettable TV roles, but the magic was gone. The gap was too wide. The world had changed, and her time had passed. She'd given away the years that mattered most, her 30s, to a life that gave her nothing back. She married again, this time to Ronald Reagan's son. Not the president's, but another Reagan. That marriage failed too. Everything she sacrificed for Bradford, her fame, her fortune, her future, ended in nothing. Suzy Parker died in 2003 at the age of 70. Few people recognized her name by then. The obituaries called her a model, briefly mentioned her films, but left out the tragedy behind her disappearance. She was the first true supermodel, before the word even existed. She had it all: beauty, brains, opportunity. But she gave it all up for a man who couldn't stand her shine. Look again at the 2 photographs, the dazzling star from 1960, with the world at her feet, And the fading figure from 1963, already stepping into the shadows. She gave up millions, fame, and immortality for a marriage that fell apart. She traded a legacy for domestic silence, let a man's insecurity extinguish her brilliance. And by the time she realized what she'd lost, it was far too late. That's the story no one ever tells.